Hello YouTube, this is Juicy. So as you probably saw in my very first video, I had Juicy's journey with recovering from hepatic lipidosis. So my cat, she actually stopped eating and drinking for about 2 days. I then took her to the vets and I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but something is going on with my cat. She's not eating, she's not drinking. When I picked her up this morning, she was light as a feather and I can feel all of her bones in her back. I mean, she feels like a dinosaur. So I, called the vet. I took her in right away. To the emergency vet. They did some blood tests and they told me that her liver enzymes were elevated. They were way out of the normal range and that they thought that she might have fatty liver disease. And they gave her some fluids and then they gave her an appetite stimulant and an anti-anxiety medicine. So we tried that for about, I want to say 2 more days, and it did not work. Everything happened so quickly. My cat started turning yellow. She was becoming very weak and she was having seizures. I was calling around to try to find a vet that would be able to put a feeding tube in her, given her current circumstances, and to try to find a vet that would do a payment plan. So I was finally able to find a vet that worked out a payment plan. Juicy got the feeding tube put in, and she was on the feeding tube for about 10 weeks. 10 weeks, I was feeding her every 2 to 4 hours to get the nutrients in her. She was not eating, she was not drinking on her own. She was on an anti-nausea medicine called Raglan. She had some really bad side effects from that medication. She had many ups and downs during her journey, but she was able to come through on the other side. With a lot of patience, with a lot of love, and with a lot of attention, she was able to heal. And, there were so many doctors who looked at her and said, I don't think she's going to make it. The chances are very slim. When I turned to YouTube myself, and when I turned to Google myself to, read up on people who've had their cats, go through hepatic lipidosis and come out on the other side, I was very disappointed to find out that not many people have blogged about this. Not many people have talked about their experiences with having their pet go into fatty liver disease and being able to survive. So for 10 weeks, it was the longest 10 weeks of my entire life. I was with my cat and we were going weekly to the veterinarian's office. Sometimes we were going during the middle of the night for an emergency. She swallowed her feeding tube. They've never seen it before, but she swallowed her feeding tube for one of the times that we went into the emergency vet. Another time we went into the emergency vet, she had an upper respiratory infection and then it turned into pneumonia. She had an infection at the incision site of her esophageal feeding tube. She used her back claw and she was trying to itch at it to pull it out. There were so many ups and downs during her journey, but with a lot of love, with a lot of patience, a lot of prayer, we were able to come through on the other side. And I really just want to encourage everybody who is currently dealing with this situation. They just found out I just want to encourage people who are going through this right now that, you just found out your cat has hepatic lipidosis. You're looking online, you're looking on Google, you're on YouTube. People are saying they had to put their cats to sleep. You feel like there's no hope. There is so much hope out there. I can guarantee you that. A lot of patience, and just you have to be strong for your pet. They don't feel good. Once they get into the fatty liver disease, they are nauseous all the time. They're throwing up. They're rejecting their feedings, and you feel so hopeless. Like, what am I doing wrong? And, it is a very trying time. But, my cat, it's November now. She took out the feeding tube herself. Actually, she took it out in September. So it's been a couple of months, and she has been doing great. So if you would like, feel free to go check out Juicy's video. It shows her hepatic lipidosis journey from the very beginning until the end. Thank you so much for your time and for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.